Hey everybody, I'm doing this as a test. Let's see, let me turn down the Hobbit over here. This is sort of a test to see how this will come up. I'm going to work on this illustration here of Mocha Akashia from Rosario Vampire. Her hair, I'm laying in this light, well, this kind of a light to mid-tone here, using a Copic Sketch YG61 pale moss, as you can see here, pale moss, and I'm using the brush tip in, and you'll notice in some of these places here I'm leaving the white of the paper show through. Those are going to act as my highlights, and I might come in with like maybe a lighter green, maybe at the end, maybe right towards the very end. But you'll notice, particularly here, in some of these areas right in here, I've done this kind of this stroke, just like this. Put the tip of the pen down of the brush and just stroke up. And I've done this in several areas, like here, the kind of that flicking motion, like with a paintbrush. When you flick up, you're pushing down and lifting up, very, very slightly, and with a very fast flicking motion. And those are mostly for the longer areas here. I do have an image I'm using as reference over here to kind of get a gauge of where some of the highlights and midtones are. Now, some of them don't have to be exactly perfect. All I'm doing right now is laying down sort of like a base coat, like a base tone, if you will. Yeah, this was an inking that I did back on August 17th. So I've been waiting to do this one because I haven't had the right colors to do it yet. And now that I have the right colors, so you can see I've already started with the hair. In the manga in particular, they describe Mocha, well, the inner Mocha, as having silver kind of hair. But to depict that, they use very green-ish tones. So in most of these areas, like right in here, like I come in, I'll leave a lot of the white of the paper. You see sometimes it goes on a little darker, but it will lighten up. And just, kind of do some quick passes right in here. Which, it gives the illusion of a highlight in some of these other areas. And this is pretty much how I tackle the issue of hair in most manga style illustrations like this. And of course, I'm gonna shut up for a minute and just kind of let y'all see what I'm doing here, and hope it shows up on the camera really, really good. Now, if it runs off in some of these negative areas here, I'll come in later and put borders around them, put other light little things in there. It'll be darker than that. That'll kind of hide that. So if it goes off to the side a little bit, it doesn't really make all that much of a difference. Very quick moving strokes, and you'll see some of the areas I'll let it saturate a little bit more. Okay. And that kind of does like a really quick pass in like some of these areas here. Now here on the bottom I can mainly kind of keep it a little darker here because under this here, these areas here, there's a lot of shadow underneath, and I'll be adding darker colors. I'll be layering color on top of color and going in with my lighter tone to sort of use my lighter tone to blend them in a little later in the rendering of her hair color. But I really like the Copic sketch markers because I love the brush tip, and I use the brush tip more for doing hair and things like this. Sometimes I might use the chisel tip that I like. I can get very, very